Yeah, no, well, the second half was obviously brilliant. I think we come out, we started the second half perfectly. I don't even know how long it was before we got the two goals. So, like I said, for the first 7-8 minutes in that dressing room, yeah, it was quiet in there, as you can imagine. I didn't actually think we played too bad in the first half. I think we had probably the better chances, and then obviously, it was a bit like last week, really, where we conceded a goal and then we conceded another one straight after. So, yeah, no, it weren't the ideal situation, but I thought the second half was brilliant.
It had shades of the last day of last season, actually. When you got that goal, I think it was 6 minutes into the second half and scored again. Do you always feel with the talent you've got on the pitch, when you get one and you get the crowd going like you did, that you can go and get 3 and 4?
Yeah, definitely. I think it helps so much, like you touched on, the fans, when we got the second goal, you could really feel it. And you just feel like, you got everyone on side, and you feel, almost unstoppable, especially when you see the players that we've got, on the pitch. So, yeah, no, it was a brilliant second half, and like you says, it actually did remind me of the final game of last season.
Now, Jack, we've got one of your former managers with us tonight as well.
I can see him, what a legend.
He's been called worse.
I still call him Gaffer, actually.
You should do. Jack, listen, I thought it was your big moment of the weekend in the derby when you come on and scored. I had my fingers crossed, but it went against you. I thought you were magnificent tonight. At half-time when you're going in there, you and Riyad must have thought, because he changes the wide men so often when things are not going well, are you going to come off? I knew you was playing well, but did you think that?
Yeah, I did, truthfully. I thought, I was sitting next to Calvin in the dressing room, and I actually said to Calvin, I said, is he making any subs here? I was desperate not to come off. But do you know what? Like, against teams like this, it's difficult because obviously they played a 5 at the back, and you have Royale, who was obviously on my side, and then you have Romero, and then Kulusevski drops in as well. So a lot of the time, it's difficult. I have to, whether it be go back to find Rodri or Nathan, because when you get doubled up, there's a spare man somewhere else. So it was difficult, especially in the first half. But I feel like, in the second half, when the game opened up a little bit, it was better for us wide players. And, you touched on Riyad. I thought Riyad was, unbelievable tonight. Played a part in all 4 goals. So I think, he deserved man of the match.
Yeah, I thought you were brilliant. But when you go in at half-time and the manager makes a decision, he doesn't really get it wrong, does he, your man? He must be, is he possibly the second best manager you've ever played for?
I don't want to comment, I don't want to upset any of you. If I said yeah, I'd be on the bench next game, definitely. No, listen, he's obviously a brilliant manager, a pleasure to play for, and games like this, when stuff aren't going well, he just changes a few things. He pulled me over tonight. I'm not going to go into too much detail because he might keep the tactics for another day, but he pulled me over, and told me to tell Gundo something during the second half, which I think really helped in the game. So yeah, listen, he's a brilliant manager, and he gave us after the 8-9 minutes of silence in the dressing room. He gave us a team talk, and fully fired us up for the second half.
Jack, it's Sean, man. Congratulations on the win and performance. I wouldn't say it was the highlight for me in your performance today, but when the ball comes out to Son, what was you actually thinking when you set off running? Because Son isn't the slowest player.
I thought I could be off here as soon as I went to ground. Do you know what? Because obviously I was out for the short, and I don't know what happened. I think did the ball get headed out or something? And yeah, I don't know why. We're not usually like that, but yeah, here we go. Look at the pace.
Great pace, yeah.
The game, I just got asked that in there. Someone says to me, that was the highlight of your night. But it's what expected, when you're playing for a top club like this, and that's the demands that we have on each other. It's what we do on the training pitch day in, day out, and with all the talent that we have, I think little stuff like that is the reason why we're so successful as a team.
Jack, really well done tonight. Thank you again for joining us. Appreciate it.
Well done, mate.
Cheers, guys. Thank you. Cheers,
Thank you.
Gaffer.
Jack Grealish, live in brilliant form at the Etihad. So let's go through that astonishing start to the second half. Then, as I said to him, it took only 6 minutes. Alvarez and Haaland both scoring tonight in only their second Premier League start together again.
Yeah, well, we all know they got bags of goals, and what Lewis does so well initially to get the ball there, but Mahrez, as we know, with his trickery, and he just stands it up. And City just tried to keep the ball alive. I think Lloris flaps there, but Alvarez again, if you see his run, he stretches the play, Lewis gets it, and he just runs, and a triangle gets tight on him, and he's just kind of drifting in the box, knowing that hopefully it's going to come in at one point, and he's just standing still. And for me, he reacts the quickest, but the finish is harder than he thinks. Yeah. He just sidefoots it into the top of the net, and it just nicks the top of Perisic's head. But that just set the whole second half off, really.
See, Jack Grealish goes in there, he knows he's not going to win that ball. He knows if he sticks his foot in there, there's a good chance that Lloris will flap at it and think that he might get hurt. And it's exactly what he did. Jack had no intention of trying to win that ball. He just swiped his right foot at it and he just allowed Lloris just to palm it out, and it's a wonderful finish.
Were you worried that Tottenham might crumble the way they did at that stage?
Absolutely. Said it at half-time. As soon as they concede one, I fear for them, and I really did. I mean, it was just... It was a crumble analogy there. I mean, there's no other word for it. They just folded. Absolutely folded. That's another word for it.
2 words. We'll have one each. And Erling Haaland got his goal in the end. He was a little bit frustrated in the first half, but he got his goal in the end.
I could understand it. I think he was going for a stage where they was looking for him at every chance they got. And I think in the second half, they tried that a lot more. They tried to play the ball around. They stretched the play. And this header and run from Mahrez is fantastic. And that's where we always see Haaland, in and around that 6-yard box, trying to make things happen, trying to force things. And he obviously sees the goalkeeper coming, but he plays it and he gets the goal, he gets his reward from it. But just everything about it, this run from Mahrez from outside to in after he plays the ball, and to header the ball the way he does on the run, it kind of just hits the side of his head and he just cushions it over, and that's the defender out the game after that.
And Haaland's movement as well. He never stands still, the boy. You know, he's always looking for it, and he could not believe it when that fell onto his head. You know, he's been looking for a chance like that for a few games now, and what a relief to that one fly into the top corner.
That is 28 in all competitions for Manchester City since his move. But in terms of league goals, 22, 7 ahead of Harry Kane. And that is the most any player has scored in the Premier League for Manchester City already under Pep Guardiola. It's incredible, really. Sergio Aguero's most was 21.
Yeah. And Steve, can you believe, I'm listening to pundits, ex-professional footballers suggesting that they should go back to the false nine. How many more goals does this boy have to score? I mean, he don't score in 2 games and everyone's writing him off. He's a phenomenon.
I honestly have to agree. I think we can go back days and days. There's strikers, even in this generation, that go games without scoring in maybe, 3 or 4 games. But for some reason, with Haaland, if he goes 1 or 2 games and people are just saying he has a bad game, and like Tim said, they're saying revert back to the number 9. I think he's always primed himself on not having to touch the ball too much times, but when he touches the ball and he does something with it, something happens. And that's what he wants to do. He's always said that he'll be happy if he touches the ball 5 times in a game and score 5 goals. That is his dream.
Yeah.
And at this rate, he looks like he's getting closer and closer to doing that. If he hits form again and they create those sort of chances for him, like the one he had to tap in again, he will get there at some point.
Yeah, he's 1 behind last season's Golden Boot winner already as we approach the halfway stage. Hugo Lloris, we spoke about before the game and his recent form. Will he be disappointed with 3-2, Tim?
Absolutely. I think he